Try that in there. Still gotta remember to turn the mic on. Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining us. Welcome back here to the launch pad. You're watching our live coverage of the launch of OneWeb-5, launching from the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia from Site 1S. Going to be launching a Soyuz 2.1B rocket this morning. This is the 8th OneWeb launch to build the OneWeb satellite constellation. Similar idea to what Starlink is, but a much smaller constellation, but at a much higher altitude. So we're going to be expecting liftoff here in about 53 minutes. We're getting the live views on the ground from Roscosmos. They are going to be launching, it's a Russian Federal Space Agency and Arianespace launch. As I said, launching from the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia. It's going to be launching into a polar low Earth orbit today. The initial orbit is going to circularize at 450 kilometers at an 87.4 degree inclination, but the final orbit will be way out there at 1200 kilometers, and that's one of the big differences between OneWeb and Starlink, is that final deployment altitude. For it, obviously, Soyuz is not something that is recoverable for it. We're just waiting for OneWeb to actually start up their stream here in the next couple of minutes, and hopefully we'll have some weather updates, and they'll share a little bit about their satellites. So we'll be jumping back and forth between the Russia camera feeds, and we might listen into the OneWeb one, as normally they show some other videos and stuff as well. This is the 63rd orbital launch attempt of 2021. This is the 7th operational launch of OneWeb. Their first launch was a test launch, and it's the 63rd launch of the Soyuz 2.1B. So yeah, we're just waiting for them to get started. They're going to be launching 36 OneWeb satellites as part of today's launch into that polar orbit. OneWeb will boost, this launch will boost OneWeb satellites total launch to 254 satellites in orbit. And they will be able to provide 24/7 coverage to all latitudes above 50 degrees and minus 50 degrees. So another internet constellation definitely starting to come together, and we'll be bringing that to you live. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the host here at the launch pad. Here at the pad, we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space and STEM. And this is our, I think, 7th live stream in the last about 48 hours. It's been a quiet couple weeks, and then they're all one right back after another. So we have brought you Transporter 2, Tubular Bells. What else was there? There was the Tubular Bells was Virgin Orbit. Then there was a couple other ones. I'm even blanking. There was a Soyuz, yes, MS-17, back to the International Space Station. There was the Scub of Transporter 2. There was the landing pad, our weekly hangout last night, which was fantastic. Thank you all for joining in. And now we're back with OneWeb. So lots of amazing things. And of course, we'll have some flash news updates coming your way of some of the biggest space news that has broken the last kind of 48 hours later today. So make sure you've hit the like and the subscribe button so you never miss a new news update, live launch coverage, or exclusive interview. Let us know in the chat where you are watching from. If you have any questions, as always, you can drop that in the chat using the hashtag AskTLP, and we will answer those live for you on air. And take a moment and share out the link. A lot of people didn't know this launch was really taking place. Transporter 2, the Virgin Orbit 1, and MS-17 definitely took the kind of main focus in most of the launch community. So we are excited to be bringing this one to you. We try to cover everything space launch-wise. Sometimes it's just not possible depending on time zones, but we try to bring you at least a flash update on them. But this one was at a good time, a nice sunset launch from it, and we're excited to bring that to you. And we are seeing that OneWeb has gone live here, so we're going to just take a quick second and pull that up here. And then we're also seeing that there is a coverage from Arianespace, so we'll pull that one up to you. And we'll be jumping between the three of them. It's always an interesting kind of launch combination with these three, because you've got OneWeb's coverage, you've got Soyuz's coverage, and then you've got Arianespace's coverage. So we'll see who's got the best coverage here this morning, and we will go from there. Good morning, Joe. How's it going? Good to see you. So all of them are starting their countdowns to their actual streams here. So we'll keep an eye on it. But there's that countdown clock in the bottom right corner. Good morning, Pretty. Good to see you as well. Thanks for jumping on. No, this was a little bit last minute. Wasn't sure if we'd be up after the last 2 days, but we made it, and we are here. So we're currently about 47 minutes away. Now, we won't be covering deployment. Deployment isn't expected, from what I was at least reading kind of in briefings for it, until about 4 hours after launch, and we're not going to be covering that, and most of the time they won't either. Sometimes they'll leave an animation, but we'll watch launch, we'll see it on its way, and then we'll just do a flash update or something about the deployment, or we'll live tweet it. For that, let's see if they started up here. Anything? Nope, nothing yet. We're just waiting for the official OneWeb stream to start. This is a polar launch that they're going into. Section 7 is in the air. Is it in the... so many things on one day. Let's take a look here. Let's pull up our camera. Thanks to our friends over at spadre.com. And let's take a look and see what it's doing. It is in the air. My goodness. Let's bring you this up here really quickly. I know you're here for the launch of OneWeb, but yep, there's Section 7 up in the air, which means there is only one more to go, and that tower will be done in September. I can't wait to be at the base of that tower. Well, base of the tower adjacent, bringing you some live coverage from Starbase. Our first on-site coverage, and we're hoping maybe with the timeline that we'll be able to line it up with a launch, or at least some testing on the pad. So definitely keep an eye out to that. But before that, we'll be in Florida for the launch of Inspiration 4. And be bringing that to you as well. We're going to be sitting down with the crew of Inspiration 4 here in the next little bit. So if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask them, jump on over into our Discord. You can drop those into the interview channel, sending in those questions, and we would save them and possibly ask the crew your question. Hey Chad, how's it going? So Arianespace isn't started up, and OneWeb isn't either, so we're going to stick with the good old live Russian feed, and we'll keep an eye on the other ones there, but you can see that sun setting, that beautiful kind of golden hour glow from the launch site here. They are launching from the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia at Site 1S, launching 36, I believe it is. Yep, 36 OneWeb satellites. So if you guys have any questions, drop those in the chat. Also take a moment, share out the broadcast, let people know that we are now T-minus 45 minutes away from the 7th operational launch of the OneWeb satellite system. launching into a polar orbit today. Final orbit will be up at 1,200 kilometers, but the initial orbit at 450 kilometers. So quite a bit further out compared to Starlink, which is why they need a lot less satellites to complete their constellation. When we were actually live yesterday for Transporter 2, I was getting OneWeb ads on my end. So definitely starting to see that some of that competition as they are completing enough of their constellation to start offering service to anyone above 50 degrees in latitude or below minus 50 degrees in latitude. And they're slowly bringing that in to offer global coverage. See, is OneWeb here? Nope, nothing OneWeb. And let's take a look at Starbase. There's that 7th section on its way up. Again, this camera, Starship cams, from our friends over at espadre.com. It is making its way. They sure like their early morning lifts of the Starship camera. We know that there is supposed to be a big road closure, which actually should have just gone into effect at 7 a.m. Does look like there's still a little bit of traffic. But from 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. there was a scheduled road closure. So we might be seeing the move out of BN3 to get ready for its ground testing. BN3 will not fly. A lot of people were thinking maybe it would do a hop. But from the latest Elon tweets, it sounds like, nope, it's going to be just ground testing. BN4, the one that's going to go orbital, is the first one that will actually leave the pad. Joe, just think early last May they were still pouring the foundation for the tower. 39B rebuild took almost 6 years. Yeah. Yup. The Kennedy launch pads take quite a while. And I mean, which makes sense, they're a government pad, but I mean, the 39... How long was the 39A rebuild? Like, once SpaceX actually came in and started building their pad at 39A. I'll have to look that one up because I'm not too sure on that. But yes, the 39B rebuild took quite a while. In 6 years, they're going to have developed the rocket, built 2 launch pads, built 2 floating orbital launch pads, maybe be working on some more. Very much a rapid advancement of the Starship system. Nothing yet from OneWeb. Waiting to see what they're doing, because they normally actually do some English coverage, give us some updates on the systems and the satellite constellation and stuff, so we will bring that to you once they end up showing up. But right now we'll keep with the Roscosmos coverage for the Soyuz. So we come down to T-minus 40 minutes. If you're just joining us, well, good morning. You're watching the launch pad with our live launch coverage of OneWeb 8. We are about just under now T-minus 40 minutes from launch from the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia with the 7th orbital launch of OneWeb. Seeing some great animations there in the bottom left corner. 36 satellites on board today. Have quite a slow payload, regular deployment. From what we've seen, deployment expected about 4 hours after launch based on some of the early briefings. But we're waiting for OneWeb to give their update today on their final plans for release of their satellites. Joe just figured out road closures. They are going to walk a crane from the build site to the launch site. There's wood pads stacked from A to B. Interesting. Wonder what the crane will be for. It's got to be for the booster. It's got to be. There's nothing else they're really moving out right now. I think they got a couple more ground support tanks for the first operational or orbital launch tank farm. But really, the booster's that next thing to go. So we'll keep an eye on it. Nothing just yet from OneWeb. I wonder why. Wonder if they're having some tech stuff on their end for their broadcast. Oh, and Arianespace is now started up here. So let me quickly pull you guys here. And we will pull them up as well and see possibly which one gets started here first. And we'll patch them in accordingly. There we go. Zach, check that place I have shared links to. I have video just posted after you read my comment. Shared links to. Did you send something on Facebook? I'll have to keep an eye out for it on Facebook. Okay. I will keep an eye. Sounds good. I'm not seeing any links, but let me know when you've sent it, and I'll keep an eye on it. We'll take a look, see what you got. So Elon just tweeted Super Heavy moves tomorrow. So they are stacking the launch site right now. They got that big crane over there, which actually gives us a good height reference for the Super Heavy booster as they make preparations. But tomorrow, BN3 is coming out to the pad, which is going to be very exciting. We'll try to bring that to you guys depending on what time they decide to do the move of that launch here. But we are here for OneWeb, so we'll keep an eye on it and jump in and out to the live view from Starbase every now and again. I see that message come in, Joe, so I'll take a look at it in a bit. The mobile gantry and everything, as you can see, has been retracted. They are targeting a launch time of 8:48 a.m. Eastern or 5:48 a.m. Pacific, so about 34 minutes from now carrying 36 more OneWeb satellites for their new internet constellation. Okay, yeah, I did see that one, Joe. That's awesome. You go ahead and post that if you wanted to. Yeah, I've been following Ocean pretty closely. Some fantastic coverage from down there. Super early in the morning, too. Awesome. Yeah, bringing some great coverage from down there on the ground. We're hoping to connect with some people like that for when we're down there. Going to be down there about a week, which I'm so excited about. The fact that even just, even if we don't see a Starship fly, I'm just so excited to. Ascent 15 should be there. Obviously, the orbital launch tower is going to be there. It'll be the closest launch complex that you can get to anywhere in the world, really, unless you're invited to a Soyuz launch where you basically can walk up and touch the thing. And we'll see what happens. Elon has been saying that he's going to do this, Starship update end of September. It sounds like a good time to me to do it. They might have completed an orbital launch attempt by then. Maybe have the second one on the pad. So, set up a couple tents on the landing zone and have the presentation at the base of the orbital launch tower with or without a Starship. Sounds like a pretty good location to me. I'm very surprised that OneWeb has not actually started their stream, because they're still in a countdown. Everything's still progressing towards a launch. But there's been no actual they've started their live stream, but they're just sitting on a kind of a holding screen right now. So waiting to get a weather update from them. Yeah, I think it'll be at the launch site. It's going to have to be. They're not going to. The only other option would be that they do it at the high bay, in the bar on the high bay. So it'd be a smaller presentation. And maybe they actually do a test on the orbital pad, like a static fire or something. Because I think they'd be allowed in there, possibly. I'm not too sure how that works for their exclusion zone, because they're allowed in Stargate. For the launches, so we'd have to see, but or maybe they just use some fireworks and fake a launch type of thing, with a little bit of smoke kind of thing under a Starship. But I could see that too, because eventually they're gonna want to be able to offer people to be in the high bay bar, and I think that big Starship update that we are all almost 2 years overdue, I'm waiting for, would be good. The site looks like a stage from the air. I would bet money on it that they would have it there if, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the landing pad is just stationed perfectly for it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I could see them putting like a booster on like pad a starship on pad B, fully stacked one on the orbital pad, like just fully starships all around, almost like a rocket garden. I could definitely see them doing here. Just going to take a super quick break here. You are watching our live launch coverage of OneWeb-5 on board a Soyuz 2.1B rocket launching from the Vostochny Cosmodrome. We're T-minus 27 and about a half minutes until scheduled liftoff. So stay with us here on the launch pad, and I will be right back once we have some of the live coverage from OneWeb themselves with their English coverage just before launch. We will, of course, patch that in for you guys, but stay with us. I'll be right back. looks like we're gonna finally get some coverage here from OneWeb. So here we go, we'll pull this up. Showing their 3 launch sites from where they have launched them. Today they are launching into polar orbit from Vostochny Cosmodrome, this one right here. That's what we're expecting to see here in just under about 20 minutes. You can see the scale of their satellites. 36 on board inside that fairing today.
Hello, I'm Georgie Barrett, tech journalist and broadcaster, and welcome to OneWeb's 8th satellite launch. Yes, today we're bringing you the next stage of OneWeb's inspiring mission to create a better connected world. We are covering the launch from our studio here in London, alongside the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia, where preparations are well underway.
That
in the next
background
30
is not
minutes,
London.
we will not only see the launch happen live, but we'll also get to learn more about why this milestone is so important for OneWeb and hear from special guests about the impact connectivity can make in a range of areas. And remember to stay tuned after the big launch moment, as there'll be more to come when we go live to Alaska to reveal the winners of OneWeb's Innovation Challenge. But now let's have a little recap on the story so far. OneWeb has been very busy launching 218 satellites and also testing its network, which will be ready for live service later this year. The ultra-fast internet has speeds of almost 200 megabytes with a latency of less than 70 milliseconds. That's the kind of fast speeds you need for all types of uses, from accessing the cloud to video conferencing to gaming and live streaming football matches. Now, you might think the internet is everywhere these days, but almost half the world's population still lacks access to connectivity, and many struggle with the quality even if they do actually have that access. So that means nearly 4 billion people are affected, as well as all the businesses and services in those communities. Now, we have all felt firsthand the benefits of being, truly connected over the past year, from remote access to education and learning, to being able to continue to run a business online, or to even access virtual healthcare. Yet, wherever you live, and in every single country, there still is that digital divide. And governments and international organisations are working really, really hard to close those gaps. So OneWeb is working alongside local operators and partners to help connect even more communities and businesses. So that's their mission, bringing scalable connectivity to the unconnected people and places around the world. Now, the theme of today's particular launch, which I love, is Hello North Pole. Yes, we are going to say hello to the North Pole, which has never before been connected to the internet. We also say hello to all the territories above 50 degrees north. So that's an area that stretches from the North Pole to the southernmost tip of the UK, including Europe, Greenland, Iceland, Canada and Alaska. But launches are not all it takes to establish a transformational low Earth orbit satellite communications network. At the same time, OneWeb has been forging new deals with distribution partners, like local telco partners in these regions, to help deliver the service on the ground to customers at scale. Major partners include the Alaska-based Pacific Dataport and BT in the UK. Today, this 8th launch for OneWeb will bring the total number of OneWeb satellites in orbit to 254. Now, that is a really important milestone because that's the number of satellites required for OneWeb to launch its service to customers later this year. So if you are watching or joining us from Canada, Northern Europe or Alaska, your area is going to be first to access a OneWeb service. Right, as we are less than 20 minutes to liftoff, let's check in on the preparations, which are now well underway. Let's speak to the flight desk in France to join Arianespace Chief Brand and Communications Director, Gregory Gavroy, for an update on the preparations. Gregory, how's it all going?
Yes, good afternoon, Georgie. So I'm standing here. I'm with the team. We're 15 miles, 25 kilometers south of Paris. And I wish you welcome everyone to Arianespace Headquarters Remote Control Center.
Well, it's great to be joining you. Now, this is the fourth OneWeb launch of the year and the 8th overall. Can you just tell us a little bit about the specifics of this afternoon's launch? What have we got to look forward to?
Yes. So welcome on board, everyone, for this 3-hour, 51-minute flight. Our destination today is the low Earth orbit, 300 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. So today, 1 month after the last launch we did for OneWeb, Soyuz will once again place 36 more satellites there, bringing the total fleet, you say that, to 254 satellites. Also, the configuration of this mission will be the same than the previous one. We understand this is a very special flight for OneWeb team. Today, once ST-33, the code name for today's launch, is a success, Arianespace will have put into orbit enough satellites, allowing OneWeb to deliver connectivity services. You mentioned it, Georgie, in North Canada, in the UK, in Northern Europe, or Alaska and Arctic regions by the year end. The team Arianespace is on your side, OneWeb colleagues, to pass that big step.
I know. Can I just say, I'm so excited that we're going to be delivering internet to the North Pole. I'm not sure if I'll ever make it to the North Pole, but if I do and I use internet, I'll be thinking of OneWeb. But Gregory, of course, to achieve something like this, you have to have a huge amount of international cooperation, don't you?
Yeah, it is. This moment is a fruit of many months of teamwork all around the globe. To make all of this possible, our Arianespace and StarSem staff have been working hand in hand with OneWeb and also with OneWeb satellite experts. We also collaborated with Soyuz authorities and manufacturers, our Russian friend from Roscosmos, Akatis Progress, and P.O. Lavochkin and Senki, to be able to operate this launch today. And after this mission, many others should follow this year from 3 different spaceports, Vostochny as today, Baikonur, and also the Guyana Space Center.
And we will certainly be watching out for those next launches as usual. Gregory, thank you so much for your time. Now, the trials for OneWeb's network are already taking place, and the network will be switched on for customers above the 50th parallel at the end of this year. But of course, the mission doesn't stop there. More satellite launches will follow with the aim of delivering a fully global service in 2022. Now, once the OneWeb constellation is complete, 648 satellites will connect you to fast, low-latency internet. There is a dedicated team of people involved in each launch, from OneWebbers to partners. So let's hear from some of them now on why fast internet connectivity is so important to us all.
We're Strategies 360 from Anchorage, Alaska.
And we're excited to connect rural Alaska with the world.
We are ready for the launch.
Hi, my name is Hassan Hossein, and I'm Chief Executive Officer over here at Denali Brewing Company in Talkeetna, Alaska. OneWeb's high-speed, low-latency internet connectivity is important to me because without internet connection, we just can't get the job done. The job can't get done, we can't make money. We can't make money, there's no jobs.
Hello OneWeb, hello North Pole, hello Canada. We are so excited about the connectivity that OneWeb brings to all of those hard-to-reach places in Canada, from coast to coast to coast.
Hi there, I'm Melissa Thorpe, and I am the head of Spaceport Cornwall. We're providing responsive access to space, and with OneWeb and their low latency connectivity, that will be responsive access back to Earth so that we can connect rural areas like Cornwall better than ever before.
I'm delighted to be here at OneWeb's next successful launch as it completes its 5 to 50 program. This is a hugely exciting development for OneWeb and will secure connectivity from the North Pole to the tip of Cornwall.
I am Steve Goldman, I'm the launch technical lead at our Florida facility.
Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Eaton. I'm the Cloud Security Architect Lead at OneWeb. The internet is a crucial platform for the delivery of information and services. However, even for developed nations, access can be patchy. Our goal is to change that.
My name is Sarah Kutu, and I'm a launch operations technician in Florida at OneWeb.
And what I like about working with OneWeb is I feel it is doing something for everybody. We're bringing the internet to places that we've never had before, so we're connected.
And OneWeb is important to me because it will provide accessible internet to all its people.
My name is Lilo Gemelli. I'm the OneWeb Launch Campaign Manager.
Hi, this is Amber Newby. I'm out here at the Vostochny launch base serving as the electrical lead for Launch 8.
We are here in Vostochny with 36 satellites.
I'm out here in support, creating equal opportunity for those who are embracing 50 and above.
Go OneWeb.
Good luck, OneWeb Launch 8. Hello, North Pole.
Go Soyuz.
Good luck on Launch 8, and we wish you mission success from all of us here at Galaxy in Canada.
Good luck, OneWeb, from here in Cornwall, and hello, North Pole.
Hello, North Pole.
Hello, North Pole.
Good luck, OneWeb. Launch 8.
Well, that was a
Thank
video.
you to all of our contributors. It just really brings home just how passionate people feel about OneWeb's mission. Now, earlier in the show, I mentioned some of the people that will benefit from the initial OneWeb service switch on, which is going to be taking place later this year. Let's now hear from 3 of these countries as we're joined by Joe Hickey, founder and CEO of Rot Networks, who's based over in Canada. From the UK, we have Neil McRae, a BT Group Chief Architect. And from Alaska, Liesl McGuire, the former Alaska State Senator. Very warm welcome to you all. Liesl, I'd love to hear from you just some of the key challenges when it comes to delivering broadband across Alaska. What problems are you guys up against?
Thank you, Georgie. Alaska represents 1/3 the entire landmass of the United States of America, and our population is only 737,000 people. So if you can just imagine all of these beautiful Alaskans living out their lives, learning, receiving medical care, entering into the commerce stream, we've been left behind in many ways. We refer to it as the digital divide here in Alaska, and OneWeb represents an opportunity to meaningfully close that digital divide in a way that we haven't been able to. Terrestrial fiber is expensive. The environmental permitting associated with it is challenging. And so really, it's a solution like OneWeb's LEO network that will bring Alaska into the forefront.
Absolutely. And Joe, do you suffer the same sort of problems when it comes to connecting Canada? What kind of challenges do you have to overcome?
Yeah, so certainly similar to what Liesl said, we have connectivity challenges because we have such a large landmass as well. So traditional models of connectivity are not feasible or cost effective. And that inequality, if you will, from the urban side, like Toronto and the major cities, versus rural Canada above 50 degrees north and our territories in the far north, we just don't have connectivity there. So OneWeb is certainly crucial to enabling the government's goal of 100% of Canadians to be connected to broadband, which is defined as 50 megabits down and 10 megabits up by 2028. But we're super excited about the OneWeb partnership for another reason, and that is the national sovereignty of Canada, where we have government operations in the far north, our territorial Arctic waters, where connectivity, broadband connectivity for ships on the move and military forces on the move are quite crucial. And OneWeb certainly complements our portfolio of solutions for those customers.
Great. So you're going to be using it both on land and at sea. Neil, love to hear from you. I mean, when you think of the UK, you think it's pretty well connected, but there are still some sticking points when it comes to everybody having broadband, aren't there?
Yeah, look, Georgie, we're in the UK, we're a knowledge economy, and to really take part in the core business of the UK, you've got to be connected. We have many places in the north of Scotland, the Highlands and Islands, where it's difficult to build, it's expensive, environmental challenges as well. Wales and some of the rural location of Wales, but actually all over the country you'll find a not spot. And OneWeb's capability really helps us plug those not spots in a really great way, and brings those people into that knowledge economy and lets them take part and be successful. So we're really excited about that. And as we come out of COVID, the whole bounce back and the whole economic return for the UK is really going to be underpinned by our connectivity and pushing what we can do in the UK, both locally from an economy point of view, but also globally. And whilst we're not as big as Alaska and Canada, we punch very high.
We certainly do pack a punch, don't we? Well, listen, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much, Liesl, Joe and Neil, for joining us today. Okay, it's nearly time for liftoff, so let's bring in our OneWeb launch expert, Vice President for Space Infrastructure Development, Maurizio Vanotti. Welcome, Maurizio. So great to have you back again. Let me start by asking you, how are preparations going for the OneWeb team?
Thanks, Georgie. Over the last few hours, the Satellite Operations Center, the SOC as we call it, has performed a series of checks. At T-4 hours, we've done a final check with the telemetry and telecommand ground stations that will acquire the satellites after the separation from the upper stage. At T-45 minutes, the SOC team has given the final go for launch. The battery status has been monitored throughout this period of time, and right now our 36 satellites are warm and cozy inside the fairing of the top of the Soyuz rocket.
Okay, so far everything is looking good, which I'm very pleased to hear. Now let's welcome our launch expert, Vincent Bordel, who is Arianespace's Advanced Studies Director. Vincent, great to see you again. How's it all going at your end?
Hi, Georgie, and hello, everybody. So very happy to be with you today for this new OneWeb mission with Soyuz. So far, final ops in Vostochny are running as expected, and the Soyuz is ready for launch.
Brilliant stuff. Now, earlier this week, the rocket was actually rolled into position for launch. Can you talk us through that process? How do you get it prepared?
Yes, so the first combined operation consisted in the integration of the complete stack of the 36 OneWeb satellites on the frigate upper stage, and followed by the encapsulation phase with the fairing installation. So this operation has been done horizontally in dedicated facilities and clean room. Then this upper composite has been transferred to the launcher integration building, where it has been integrated and finally prepared on top of the Soyuz 3 stage. So first integration on top of the Soyuz 3rd stage, and then the complete integration of the launcher. So 3 days before the launch, the complete launch vehicle has been transferred to the launch pad. So it is an operation performed by train, as you can see on the video. And once arrived on the launch pad, so the launch vehicle has been vertically tilted, and the mobile gantry has been safely installed around the launcher. So after completion of this installation, so the launch pad operation have then been initiated with line connections, with setup and different verifications. So the countdown and dress rehearsal have finally been run successfully at day D-2, that is to say 2 days before the launch, 2 days before today.
You know what, it's always so magnificent seeing it like that. And I can actually say we're less than 3 minutes to lift off. And what you see to the side of me there is pictures of the rocket in its position on the launch pad, raring to go. Vincent, what's happening there right now?
So the beginning of the launch vehicle final automatic sequence has been initiated manually at A0 minus 5 minutes, so with a turn of key in start position. So it is a famous operation called Kluchna start in Russian, so that is to say key on start. So purging operations are as well ongoing, and on frigate the transfer has been done to the onboard power supply. 2 minutes and 25 seconds before liftoff, so few seconds ago, the umbilical connectors were separated. And before this disconnection, the communication between the ground and the launcher upper part were provided by these electrical links. And in the meantime, there is a pressurization of the Soyuz 3 stage tanks. And 45 seconds before liftoff, the transfer will be done to the 3-stage onboard power.
Great stuff. And Maurizio, how are you feeling right now? This is a pretty complicated mission, isn't it?
It is, Georgie. We've got a long journey ahead. The satellites right now are inside the fairing, and they're going to be released in a predetermined sequence, but not all at once. We have satellites to drop off at different locations. They're going to be released at an altitude just 450 kilometers above the Earth. Once satellites are released, the onboard computer wakes them up and communicates with the team at our Satellites Operations Center. Then the satellites make their own way to their operation altitude at 1,200 kilometers in an upward spiral. It's a complex mission for Soyuz, and that will be completed in just under 4 hours.
Now, Vincent, we really don't have long until liftoff. Can you just very briefly talk me through what is going on in these final few moments before it takes off?
Make sure to like this video and subscribe.
There will be a progressive increasing of the thrust level. So in order to check that the engines work nominally, so first there will be the ignition itself. 16 seconds before liftoff.
Oh, let me interrupt you there, because we've just seen the infrastructure has just moved off, which means they're going into those final few stages before liftoff.
Then
we're going to be working through those various thrust levels, and I'm sure very shortly we will see the blaze light up as there's going to be some smoke gathering around it. Maurizio, this is the moment, isn't it? Look, you can start to see the smoke there. Yes, and there's the blaze. Oh, this is exciting.
This is phenomenal. It is amazing.
And any moment now, those thrust levels work through. And our picture there, can we see it take off? Can we got confirmation? And there we have it. Yes, we have liftoff of OneWeb Launch 8. Look at it go in that fantastic setting. It's almost sort of looking glowing red out there, isn't it, Maurizio? Maurizio, tell me, how are you feeling?
Well, it's so exciting. This is the pinnacle, of the effort of the entire OneWeb team and our partners, from design engineers, commercial, human resources, legal, assembly in Florida, the team at the launch site. It's a fantastic teamwork.
Wrong computer.
And, let's see, how the next stages are going. Right now, we are in the Ascent phase, so the boosters are doing all the work, pushing up against the Earth's gravity, and they will burn in just under 2 minutes. Precisely 1 minute and 58 seconds.
Well, you can see that it's becoming increasingly like a little dot in the distance as we say goodbye to it on Earth. How fast is it going right now?
So, as you've seen, it's been a fantastic scene, with the sunset in the background, all the red background, very, very scenographic. So the rocket now is increasing its speed, and right now the satellites are experiencing a constant acceleration. It's about 4G, which is similar to riding an extreme white-knuckle roller coaster. We are launching in plane 1 of our constellation today, and there's still a long way to go. So as we said, 4 hours journey before all the 36 satellites are released.
OK, so we're not there quite yet. Vincent, can you explain how are you getting information from the rocket?
Yes, Georgie, so indeed we are getting the information from the teams in the CVI. So CVI in French, it is the Control Visual Immédiat. So this operational team is tracking the launcher and receive the telemetry data from it. So consequently, the team can confirm when major events have occurred during the flight.
OK, well, we have had a successful liftoff, but this is just the start of the journey. What happens next, Maurizio?
So we're looking forward to receiving confirmation of the jetson of the boosters. That will happen after they've burned all the propellant. We don't need any more, and that is all part of our plan of shedding weight.
Great. And Vincent, when do we actually reach maximum acceleration, and why is that really important?
Yes, so we have the maximum acceleration level at the end of the first stage flight phase. So this first stage of the launch vehicle consists in 4 boosters around the core, the central core, so 45 tons each, and each powered by one RD 107, A engine, producing a total thrust of 340 tons at liftoff.
Great. And I know that they're now moving into the fairing separation. So that's 30 seconds, Maurizio, until that happens. Can you talk us through what we can expect when that takes place?
Yes, we're just literally a few seconds away. Right now, there are 36 OneWeb satellites that are sitting at the top of the Soyuz launcher. The fairing is protecting them as a shield in these initial phases of the ascent. The fairing has several jobs. Most notably, it's protecting the satellites from severe conditions of the launch and atmosphere.
Great, and I can just say that actually we have got confirmation that the fairing separation has happened. So this has already taken place.
You could see that in the image as well. So there's also acoustic vibration at liftoff, friction when the launcher is flying through the dense part of the atmosphere at very high speed. At present altitude, there's no more atmosphere. So we don't need to maintain the fairing on the launcher to protect the satellites. The launcher is liberated once again from dead weight. And for the first time, if we could be there, we'd be able to see our satellites. The satellites are attached to a central dispenser in a configuration that resembles a corn kernel in a shape that looks like a truncated pyramid. And that is the configuration that maximizes the number of satellites inside the fairing itself. So
okay,
we are now at the end of the second stage phase, right, Georgie?
So we're at the end of the second stage. We're about to go into the next stage. Is that right? Vincent, can you talk to us a little bit about what is happening there?
Yes, so the second stage will be separated in few seconds, and it will be the turn of the third stage to burn. So this third stage is powered by one early 124 engine producing a thrust of 30 tons. And this third stage will burn from approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
And Vincent, can you confirm that the second stage has been done?
Yes, and I confirm that the third stage has been ignited successfully, yes.
Fabulous. Okay, so as we sort of wait for that second burn of over 4 minutes, can you talk us through what we can expect for the remainder of the mission?
Yes, so the today's mission of the Soyuz started with the 4 booster phase for a duration of 2 minutes. And after their separation, the second stage of the launcher took the reins during less than 3 minutes. So the fairing is then jettisoned. A few seconds before separation of the core stage, the third stage is ignited and the central core is then separated. 9 minutes and 22 seconds after liftoff, the third stage is separated from the nose module. So the nose module includes the frigate upper stage, the dispenser, and the 36 OneWeb satellites. The frigate upper stage mission will start with a first ignition of its main engine in order to reach the intermediate transfer orbit, followed by a long ballistic phase. A second ignition will be performed for circularization and injection into the satellite separation orbit. And the satellite release sequence will start with first the separation of the 4 satellites integrated on the top conical part of the dispenser, and then successive separation of the 32 satellites integrated on the cylindrical part of the dispenser from the top row to the bottom row, and 4 satellites at once. So as illustrated on the 3D animation, it means that 9 separation events are necessary for the complete release of the 36 satellites. And between each separation event, the sequence is identical, so 19 minutes, which consists in a series of maneuvers. First, a tilting of the nose module, then a boost of the frigate attitude control system with a very small delta V during few seconds in order to ensure enough distance between the satellites and then avoid any collision. Then a new tilting of the nose module to the required orientation for the satellite separation, and then the separation ordered by the frigate upper stage. It is a smooth separation ensured by relaxation of specific separation spring. So the end of this complex release occurs a little bit less than 4 hours after the liftoff, with the 9th and the last satellite separation.
Great. Thanks so much, Vincent. Really great to get that overview of what kind of journey awaits the OneWeb satellites. Now, Maurizio, we've discussed stage 1 and stage 2. Can you tell us what is next?
Well, launch phases are always extremely exciting, and now we're looking forward to confirming stage 3 separation. While we're waiting for that, let's also take a moment to highlight that we are in the process of deploying our ground network infrastructure, the key elements of which are the satellite access portals. They are distributed in a network across the globe that will enable commercial service introduction and continuous connectivity at latitudes higher than 50 degrees north by the end of 2021. But now we're coming closer to the frigate ignition.
Great. So, Vincent, let's get back to you. Have you got any updates on the progress so far?
Yes, so we are in the third stage flight phase, so everything is working nominally. So the next phase, so the third stage will be separated, and the frigate upper stage will be getting ready to switch on its main engine. So it will be the first step of the frigate mission, a step called the pre-burn phase. So during 55 seconds, it's giving a quick burst of acceleration to push the fluid back in the tanks, like when you accelerate in a car. So this first ignition enables to inject the nose module to the intermediate transfer orbit, which is an elliptical orbit. And the duration of this boost is just over 5 minutes. So I can confirm the cutoff now of the Soyuz third stage. And we will be able to confirm the frigate, the first frigate ignition in few seconds.
Brilliant. So it's all going to plan. Maurizio, talk us through what's going to happen next.
Well, Georgie, the next phase of the journey is about to start. The frigate is really the smartest part of the rocket with its own brain, and it will execute a series of separations, as explained by Vincent. It's like a school bus drop-off, as it will release 4 satellites per stop in a series of 9 separations in total. And note that our celestial bus has only 1 gear. And as after each drop-off it becomes lighter, the frigate will have to fire its engine for a shorter period of time after each separation. Once the satellites are released, the onboard computer wakes them up, and the team at the Satellite Operations Center takes control of the satellites.
And from there, I guess you guys will be one step closer to getting that 24/7 connectivity to the likes of Alaska and those other countries which are 50 degrees north.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of Alaska, I'm now joined by Chuck Schumann, a friend, founder and CEO of Pacific Dataport, one of OneWeb's first distribution partners. We're going to discuss how important connectivity is for Alaska. Hi, Chuck. Thank you for getting up so early and for talking with us today. This launch must be very important for you, for your long-term vision to provide connectivity across Alaska, isn't it?
Good morning, Maurizio. Yes, so it's a beautiful morning here. Sun's just coming up over the Chugach Mountains behind me, and I had to get up for this launch. This has been a long time coming. We've been working for many years, as you know, to connect Alaska. And so very excited to be here with you. Very exciting day for Alaska and for the North Pole.
Thank you for the early start, Chuck. This is your lifetime work. So it's 5 a.m. in the morning where you are right now, and it's inspiring seeing you so passionate. Pacific Dataport has been one of the earliest OneWeb's partners. What does this launch mean for your project and for your vision?
Well, for so long, we've had to tell people in Alaska that we didn't have service for them, that we couldn't connect them. And it's really sad to listen to those phone calls. And so with this launch and with this partnership with OneWeb, we are going to finally be able to get beyond that and connect everyone in Alaska. So we won't have to tell people that we can't serve them anymore, or that we don't have capacity to serve them anymore. Everyone in Alaska will be connected. So it's been 5 years in the making, and it's a very exciting day for us to finally see this happen, and for people within the United States, within Alaska, to be connected finally.
So, Chuck, it is really about leaving no one behind, as you were saying. It's not about serving the big hubs. It's a massive change for communities in the most remote locations like the Aleutian Islands. We've been talking about it a lot, you and I. That stretches 1,200 miles westward from the Alaska Peninsula into the Bering Sea. What does it really mean for these small communities?
Well, examples are for education, where we've been able to now we'll be able to connect people across Alaska to be able to continue their education when they're in rural areas or in remote locations, where in the past we've had to tell them that there was no connectivity for them to be able to do that. So many things that people in rural Alaska will now be able to do as a result of this connectivity from OneWeb that was not available before. So the partnership is fantastic, and the team has been great to work with, and we're really looking forward now to deploying service and being able to connect everyone.
One last question, Chuck. To bring this into context, can you share with us some anecdotes about the disruption that has been enabled by this launch and the impact on these local communities? We're talking about educations and similar examples.
I'm having a little bit of a problem hearing the question, Maurizio. Just the volume coming back to me. I apologize for that.
We're talking about bringing things into context, Chuck, and giving anecdotes about this kind of disruption.
We've been working on this for 5 years to be able to connect everyone in Alaska, and from the communities in the most remote locations like the Aleutian Islands, and to bring that again into context is that over the past few years, as any time someone would call from these areas, we haven't been able to connect them because we just didn't have the capacity to do that. And so that's what's going to change with this launch and with getting the OneWeb service launched.
Once again, thank you very much, Chuck, for being with us today. It's been great. So looking forward to the next phase of the launch. We talk soon.
Thank you, Maurizio. Glad to be here, and thank you to the launch team.
Thank you.
Can I just say, Chuck, you look like you're in the most beautiful place in the world. I so want to be there with you. Maurizio, finally, can you just talk to me about the Innovation Challenge? Because I know this is something that you're really excited about.
Well, Georgie, back in April, OneWeb launched its first Innovation Challenge, an invitation to find exciting technologies, products, and solutions to advance the world of satellite connectivity and space-based communications. The challenge itself aimed to find existing or new tech for the satellites of the future. Well, the challenge was a fantastic and enormous success, and we had entries of over 300 innovative companies from all around the world, as well as many exciting researchers and students. From all these entries, we shortlisted and selected 14 finalists, and now we can exclusively reveal that we have announced 5 overall winners in industrial category, and also the top 3 academic research innovators. Here's a short clip.
Hi, I'm Valérie Gineste. I'm OneWeb Senior Director of Technology and member of this OneWeb Innovation Challenge 2021. This year's challenge has been a huge success. More than 300 entries from 19 countries in just 6 weeks, from innovators who want to rethink satellite connectivity. OneWeb's Innovation Challenge expected to yield radical new ideas that will benefit customers and community everywhere. So it gives OneWeb a great pleasure to award 5 innovators the opportunity to co-engineer their ideas further with OneWeb. A very special congratulations. In our academic and research category, 3 innovation teams stood out. The winners will attend the OneWeb Arianespace rocket launch. Thank you to everyone who took part.
Innovation moves fast. More opportunities are coming, so keep up to speed. Sign up to the OneWeb Innovation Program online and be part of the OneWeb Innovation community.
Well, a huge congratulations to all the winners and to everyone that entered. Well, that's nearly all we have time for. But before you go, Maurizio, we have received a few questions from our social media channels that I'd love to put towards you, if you don't mind. So the first one comes from Mads Freds. They've asked, you'll significantly increase coverage in the Arctic. Who do you think your main customers will be at first? What difference do you hope to make in the region? And also, why the Arctic first?
Well, Georgie, we hope to make a positive impact in the region that can connect people to economic opportunities, healthcare, education, and for maritime industry and others. We hope improved connectivity can lead to more sustainable fishing and shipping that helps safeguard the environment and the natural resources in that particular region. Our business plan is to work through local providers or governments. They are the closest to the needs of the communities and the area, and it's our hope to partner with them to offer our network. The Arctic has remained one of the most challenging regions to connect, and if we can provide connectivity here first, we know we can scale globally.
Yeah, start with the trickiest one first. Love that. Okay, the next question comes from Not Stefano1 on Instagram. And they've asked, after launch, how long does it take for the satellites to become operational?
Well, we mentioned we inject our satellites to approximately 450 kilometers above Earth. This is the altitude which we separate from the rocket, from the launch upper stage. And after separation from the launcher, they become live straight away. The on-computer wakes them up. And this is when the low Earth operation phase starts. This phase is followed by the satellite commissioning, during which we execute all the necessary health checks. Raising the satellites to their final operational orbit of 1,200 kilometers takes a few months. This is due to the size and the type of thruster we have on board. Once there, at 1,200 kilometers, we will initiate the final commissioning of the communication payload and put the satellite into operation in our constellation.
Great, so a couple of months at least. Okay, and then finally, this question has come in via Instagram. Space Sasha have written, how many people work in the OneWeb Mission Control Center?
Well, the OneWeb team is working hard all around the world, and the size of the team is changing. In COVID, we've had to adapt to all new ways of working, thinking, and operating our constellation and our satellites. We have satellite operation centers in both London and US in Virginia, and they work jointly in one operation center to operate the satellites. The specific number of operators is constantly evolving to make improvements and introduce more automation, as we have to fly more and more satellites. OneWeb believes we have one of the lowest operator-to-satellite ratios in the entire satellite operation industry, actually.
Oh, that's something to be very proud of. Well, that is where we're going to be leaving the mission for the time being. Thank you so much to Vincent, Maurizio and the entire team at OneWeb and Arianespace for allowing us to join them live and for all their insights. It's been brilliant to see another step in the OneWeb mission and understand the benefits it will bring to us down here on Earth. Now, this mission truly takes an incredible amount of teamwork and collaboration, and it is impressive to see how this dream can come together. Now, it won't be long until we can do it all again, so look out for the Launch 9 details. You can follow this project and look at the mission's progress across the OneWeb social media channels. But for now, from me and all the team at OneWeb, we want to say hello North Pole, Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and hello to all the countries above the 50th parallel. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Well, hello then. I'm in Canada and I'm pretty sure I'm above the 50th. I actually have to check that. All I can say is I know yesterday during Transporter 2, I was getting OneWeb ads on my computer and in the chat. Ooh, we're really red today. Why are we so red? Let's adjust that. We look almost ill. Let's get a little whiter there. There we go. That's a little better. Somewhere there. Anyway. Doesn't help that there's a big red screen on my screen right now. See, now we look really blue. But, Yeah, we were getting some OneWeb ads yesterday, so they're definitely getting ready to start really getting customers on board. As they said, they're going to turn on their system at the end of the year, so definitely trying to get in there and get some competition with Starlink, because here in Canada right now, Starlink kind of cuts off right below my city. So, you know, if OneWeb's going to try to get in there first, it will be interesting to see. But we'll take a few minutes, drop in some last-minute questions. We're going to wrap up here in the next few minutes, though. But that was our live coverage of the launch of OneWeb 8. OneWeb 9 sounds like it's not going to be too far away. And we will, of course, try to bring that to you guys as well. Upcoming launches that we know that we're looking out for in the next couple weeks. We've got a couple more China launches. A couple of them, I believe, are up to the space station. We've got Starlink 29, the 29th operational Starlink mission, launching on July 12th. And then on July 20th, New Shepard with its first crew. We're keeping an eye to see if Virgin Galactic's going to try to squeeze in there and do a launch. We've heard some rumors of the July 10th as possibly a launch day for them. But we will see what happens. Pretty in other news, Elon tried to offer engines to Tory, but Tory said no. Yeah, they've had like 2 days now of very interesting interactions. They had some more yesterday where Elon seemed to be calling ULA out of like, you're kind of not needed or something. I don't know. They seem to be friends and they just keep roasting each other. So that's good. Yes, first man suborbital flight this month. It is July. It is happening. We are 19 days and some hours away from that launch. We will, of course, bring that live coverage to you. So make sure you have hit that subscribe button. But without seeing many more questions coming in, I think we're going to wrap it there for this morning. But if you have questions, as always, join our Discord. The link is in the description. It's free to join, open to the public. Make sure you've subscribed on YouTube. If you'd like to support what we do, you can do so through Patreon or having a YouTube membership or sending in super chats or super stickers. All of that is going to our budgets for our Inspiration 4 live coverage from Kennedy Space Center on September 15th. The live stream is going to be scheduled here very soon, and then down at Starbase as well. But this is the launch pad. Here at the pad, we cover everything space, spaceflight, space engineering, and the future of space and STEM. And this is Zach signing off. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.